I have a hardwood safe filled with cursed VHS tapes that are never to be watched by anyone, ever. Only because I have watched them and have faced and/or witnessed the consequences. This post is a warning for the following VHS tape known as the Black Magic Virus. I'm not sure if there are any more of them, but this video is a visual hazard with a danger level of 3. See part 1 for the danger guide on cursed VHS tapes. The name of the tape is the Black Magic Virus. It is a black Memorex tape with the title written on the cover and the tape itself. The runtime is about 10 minutes. Securing it may not be an issue, but just in case, keep it in a secure wooden container with no metal hinges or metal locks. Metal only amplifies the energy of the tapes. Finally, this tape has a danger level of 3. This may change in the future, however. I acquired this tape from a friend online. This friend likes finding cursed objects, and on her most recent hunt, she stumbled across this tape and sent it to me. She didn't watch it, but she could tell there was something off about it, which, for someone who collects cursed objects, means there's something wrong with the tape. When I picked it up at the post office, I immediately noticed something weird about the tape. As I grabbed hold of the box the tape was in, I felt as if something was watching me. I couldn't place my finger as to where or what was watching me, but I knew that was a sign that this tape is cursed. I took it home with me, unboxed it, and put it in my safe. A week passed before my watch partner and friend could get together, and throughout that week, I felt like something else was in the house with me, like I was being haunted by something. When we were all ready, I went to get the tape and noticed that it had been moved in the safe. I told the other two about this and how I felt like I was being watched, but we agreed to watch the tape anyway. The tape starts out with a young man standing next to a dark train tunnel. Someone else is holding the camera. The date stamp on the bottom reads November 17th, 1989. The man looks a little smug as he holds his long coat closed. There's a woman's voice behind the camera that says they're good to go. The man then begins speaking. Hello, we are at the Black Magic Train Tunnel, home to one of the worst train accidents you've never heard of, and for good reason, which we will get into that in a little bit, the man says as he takes out a flashlight and motions the camera to follow along. They begin to walk further into the tunnel, but the man looks like he is maneuvering around things that are not there. Occasionally, he says, "Excuse me," before walking on, like he's passing someone. He eventually stops in front of a large chunk of the ceiling that is caved in. On the piece of rubble, someone had graffitied the words, "Black Magic," on it. Here is the namesake of the tunnel. The real name of the tunnel has been lost due to people taking this tunnel off the map and trying to make everyone forget about it. The man puts his flashlight on the rubble and points it up to light the area. I'm here to tell you the truth of this tunnel, and why you will probably never find it. It all started in 1915, when this tunnel was already 50 years old. A train filled with passengers is through, but this tunnel hasn't been maintained in a while, and no one knows that this piece of rubble and many others had fallen from the ceiling. So what happens? Collision. The train hits it dead on, killing almost every passenger on board except for one young man. He loses an arm, but continues living. Eventually, he comes back to the tunnel, which is now under repairs, and begins to see these weird things in the tunnel. He's confused until he also starts to see some of the dead passengers of the train as well, walking toward him. He begins to freak out and tells some of the people who are repairing the tunnel what is going on, and they start to see the passengers and these weird creature things as well. It's at this point in the video that you begin to see weird shadowy shapes around in the tunnel. The man keeps talking. Well, all of these workers begin to tell people back in the local town, and suddenly, they begin seeing these things too. Before you know it, the whole town is seeing weird creatures and some kind of passengers walking around town. Suddenly, there is a head that pokes out of the top of the rubble, or at least it looked like a head before it got closer to the man. The face of this thing was a giant eyeball. It was a weird purple color, and its body was the size of a gnome. It blinked a couple of times before sitting next to the light to make shadow puppets. You can hear the woman start to giggle at this thing, and it draws the attention of the man. "Hey there, how's it going?" the man says. The creature closes its eye and waves happily at the man, before playing with the light again. The man turns back to the camera as other strange creatures begin to walk past him. Well, you might see this little guy at this point, so let me explain a little bit more. Right now, you may be wondering, well, if the whole town began seeing these creatures, how did it not spread to the neighboring towns, or the whole world for that matter? Simple. The town elected to ignore these things, wipe the tunnel off the map, and get rid of any evidence they could of the train crashing. How do I know this? I live in this town, and only a few people in this town still know about it. My great-grandfather, before he passed, decided to tell me. Now I'm telling you. The man then grabs the flashlight and waves goodbye to the eyeball thing. It waves back and runs past the camera. Why are you doing this, you may ask? Because I think it's time to introduce some magic into the world. To my understanding, the only way to see these things is to have someone who has already seen them tell you that they're there. It's like a virus that sticks with you for the rest of your life. The problem is, I don't know if it'll work over video. But if it does, then spreading the magic will go by fast. I've just gotta make a few copies of this tape, send it to the news stations, and BAM! We're put into a new age of wonder. The man then takes his flashlight and points it further down the tunnel. You can see a few dozen creatures walking past him, some of them walking back down the tunnel. This tunnel originally was only about 1,000 feet long and curved, but as you can see, it is straight now and goes on much longer than 1,000 feet. Here's the problem, however. It doesn't seem to end. I've tried to find the end, but after a while these creatures begin to warn me not to go any further. So I think whatever happened during that train crash caused some sort of portal or doorway to open. The man then looks back at the camera and smiles. Anyway, that's enough from me. Hopefully this works, and if it doesn't, then I'll have to spread this information the old-fashioned way. The video cuts off there. My watch partner and I sit there for a second, thinking. Then she spoke up. Can you rewind the tape? I need to watch it again. She said. What are you thinking? I asked. I want to see if we can... She suddenly stopped as her eyes became fixed upon something behind me. What's up? I asked as I turned around to see what I could only describe as a long, furry worm with a large human face, no nose and completely wide eyes staring back at me. Its body was maybe 16 feet long and had 3 sets of legs to hold itself up. What are you guys looking at? My friend said. I was going to say something when my watch partner spoke up. Nothing. We're looking at nothing, she said. The worm turned its attention to the VCR and walked over to it. It stuck out its tongue and used it as a finger to eject the tape, then grabbed it with its mouth and placed it in a satchel wrapped around the middle of its body that I didn't notice there before. It then turned back to us. You now live in a very dangerous world. Its voice was quiet and shrill and sent a chill up my spine when it spoke. I cannot stop you from telling more people about us, but it would be in your best interest to not tell anyone, it said. Why? My watch partner asked. It suddenly moved at a high speed toward my watch partner, stopping only about a foot from her face. Because some of us are not so kind to humans, but we can only interact with you if you can see us. It moved closer to her face. And some wish only violence, and they know when you can see them. Seriously, what are you talking to? Did the tape make you crazy or something? My friend asked. Shut up for a second. I'll explain later, my watch partner exclaimed. A thought crossed my mind at that moment. Wait, why are you taking the tape now? I assume you were the thing that was watching me all week. Why wait until now to take it? It moved right in front of me. I noticed it had the faintest outline of pupils in its eyes. Because we can only interact with objects if someone can see us. We are like ghosts in your world. The creature stared at me for a while before squinting its eyes and taking a step back. You will be safe. The thing you need to worry about is in your head, it said, before turning to the doorway and running through it so fast that I barely saw it move in the first place. My friend felt a rush of wind go past him, then saw us looking at him. Alright, what the hell is going on? He asked. My watch partner and I looked at each other before looking back at him. Trust us, you really don't want to know, I said. It's been a short while since that incident, and I haven't run into anything that I would consider hostile. I've seen quite a few creatures since then, but it's sporadic. I can go days without seeing anything, but whenever I do, they ask me to help them with things. They all seem friendly, but that makes me worry. When will I find one that's hostile? And the thing the worm creature said about what's in my head still haunts me, because I think I know what it is, and I still don't know what she wants. Either way, I figured out a little more about this black magic virus. In order to infect someone with it, one of those creatures needs to be around, and you need to specifically mention the creature to someone within their line of sight of it. You can't get infected any other way, so don't worry about it when you read this post. I'm not sure how many copies of this tape there are, or if that was the only one, but it is no longer in my possession. If you find one, I recommend containing or destroying it. Alternatively, if anyone finds a copy or any other cursed VHS tape, feel free to message me if you want to get rid of it. I will gladly take it off your hands.